Hi, welcome. My name is Katherine. Welcome to Hatha Flow. Today, you might want a block and a blanket. A blanket for putting underneath your knees, a block for making your arms a little bit longer. Um, we're going to begin on our backs in constructive rest pose. So come on down, taking the feet about as wide as the mat, and then the knees fall together. Place your hands on your belly, settling in, taking a few deep breaths. Just checking in, noticing how you're doing. Body, mind, heart. Welcoming yourself to your practice. Welcome. And I invite you to continue to rest on the floor, taking some big belly breaths as I read a little excerpt from this book by Marissa Knox, a friend of mine. She wrote this book called Grace and Possibility. Grace is an acronym. She kind of cycles through each of the letters and has something really beautiful to say about each letter. This one, we're going through C, and it's for centering. Centering and connection is remembering our sacred relationship with life. You are not separate from spiral galaxies, wildflower meadows, ocean waves. You are not separate from all the trees in the forest, all the stones in the rivers, all the celestial bodies in the sky. You are not separate from the wild geese flying overhead, the squirrel scrambling up a tree, the turtle sunning itself on a log in the lake. Breathing here, center your attention on interconnection. Interconnection to all that is, interconnection to all that is possible. There is a divine intimacy between you and all things, all beings, all elements of nature. So allowing the floor underneath you to be a representation of that centeredness, that all things that you can connect to. Let the floor be like a resource for you. And take a couple more breaths here. And then you're going to walk your feet a little closer towards each other, preparing for bridge pose. So the feet are hips width distance apart, knees bent, arms alongside the body. We'll come in and out of bridge. On an inhale, press your feet down, lift the hips, sweep your arms up and back behind you. On the exhale, hips come back down, arms alongside the body. Nice and gentle here. You don't have to go super high. Inhaling, lifting the hips. Keep your gaze on the ceiling, please. Exhale, lowering the hips. And as you continue to move with the breath, feel the connection of the muscles of your glutes and hamstrings to this pose, noticing how they power the lifting of the hips, noticing the connection of your feet to your hamstrings, your glutes. Continue to move, but I encourage you to slow your breath down now. Slowing the exhale down. It's like you're moving through honey as you come towards the floor. Slowing your inhale down. Once again, moving through honey as you lift the hips. One more slow breath in. Pause here. So the hips are lifted, your gaze is on the ceiling. And then keep the arms back behind you as you exhale and just lower those hips to the mat. Slowly roll your head to the left, head turns left. Let your elbows bend. So now your arms are a little bit more like a halo around your head on the floor behind you. Just inviting a stretch through the top of the right shoulder. Maybe you might feel it in the right side of the neck. And then coming back through center, second side, head rolls to the right. If my elbows are bent, the backs of my hands are on the floor. And it's okay if the fingertips are kind of far apart. You can even let the arms come a little further apart on the floor behind you if that feels like you're able to relax more into this top of the shoulder, left side of the neck stretch. One more breath here. And then coming back through center head. So the gaze is at the ceiling. Once again, push down on the feet, lift the hips, bridge pose. With an exhale, arms come alongside the body, hips return to the floor. Apanasana, draw your right knee into the chest, hug it. Sliding the left leg long. Take a big breath in here. And with an exhale, curl up into the right knee. Inhale, release to the mat. Exhale, draw left knee into chest. Extend right leg long. On your inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, curl into the left knee. Inhale, release back to the mat. Left foot to the floor. Let's roll over, coming onto hands and knees. Placing your palms flat on the floor, spread your fingers, spread them, spread them. Try to get your thumb and your pinky as far away from each other as they can get, really, really far. And then take a look at the base of each of your fingers. Imagine you have a ring on every finger and you're going to really drive those rings into the floor. From here, reach those arms into the floor too. Here you are connecting to all that is around you, all that you are. Finding your center through this connection. Feel your breath. Keep the chest broad. Now you're welcome to stay here, hands and knees, loading some weight on your arms. Maybe you come into plank pose. Wherever you are, we'll be here for 5 breaths. Nice and slow. One more inhale. Exhale, knees to the mat, child's pose. You can take those knees wide, feet together. Keep your arms straight here, fingers spread. So it's like your arms are in a downward dog. Pressing the palms into the mat. Reach your heart through the shoulders. Lots of length on both sides of the waist. Walk your hands off the mat towards the left. Reaching your right hip away from the top of the mat to increase the stretch on the right side of the trunk. Let your head go. Walking the hands back through center, off to the right. Reaching that left hip away from the top of the mat. Nice and broad in the left side waist, left ribs. Let your head go. One more round of breath in. and out. And then come on back to center. Bring your knees together, tops of the feet to the floor. You're going to sit back on those heels and then stack the palms face up on your sacrum. We're going to come in and out of Vajrasana, arms overhead. This is where you might want to have a blanket underneath your knees. So please bring a blanket under the knees if you need it. On an inhale, kick your legs into the floor, stand up on your knees, sweep the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, rear goes back, heart forward, stack the palms face up on the sacrum, tap your forehead down. Inhale, lead with your heart, reach up. Exhale, rear goes back, heart goes forward. Little kiss of the forehead to the earth. Inhale, come on back up, feel the glutes work. Keep moving with your breath, nice and slow too. So we're slowing the breath down. Twice more. Good. Go ahead and reach up, grab your left wrist with your right hand. Tummy's in. We'll take a side bend to the right. One more round of breath. Inhale, come on back up. Grab the right wrist, reach. Side bend to your left. Inhale, come on back up. Release the arms. Now I'd like you to pivot to face the long edge of your mat. Please take your blankets with you under the knees if you need them. Coming into a variation of Gait pose. Kick your left foot out to the left. Take a gander at that foot and the knee. You want them on a tightrope, so all on the same line. Right hand can come to the floor, maybe a block if the floor feels a little far. Right wrist is under that right shoulder, and or maybe even a little bit in front if your wrist is feeling sensitive. Left arm circles down and up. Let's do some big circles here with that left arm. And we'll link it with the breath. The exhale coming down. Inhale, circling forward and up. Next time you inhale, coming up, you're going to reach the left arm over the top of the mat. Reach, 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 reach. Press the left foot into the mat. So they're anchoring down through that left foot so you can reach the left fingertips out of that left foot. One more breath here. Good, and then here, exhale, you're going to sweep that left arm back and bring the back of your hand to the low back. So the back of the top hand. And then my left shoulder is right now coming forward. I want you to do the opposite. I want you to draw the left shoulder back, broad chest, elbow moving back, and then release the weight of your head towards the floor. Keep pressing left foot into the floor. Inhale, lift your heart away from your navel. Exhale, slowly head turns to the right. Look at your right hand. We're inviting more of a stretch into the left side of the neck. Now, this won't work if your top shoulder is pushed forward and you're winging out in the top shoulder blade. So I really want you to, it's almost like your best friend is like, let me help you. And then pushing that top shoulder back, flattening that left shoulder blade onto the back. So we're anchoring the bottom of the muscle of the neck by moving that shoulder blade back. And then from that anchor point, you turn your head away from that anchor point to find that stretch. Slide your bottom jaw forward. And see if you can move the stretch all the way up into the jaw. So the left corner of the jaw. You might want to like move your head a little bit. You could look forward. You could look more to the right. Let's take one more round of breath, moving that top shoulder back in space. Very nice, good. Release the left hand to the mat. And step your right foot forward. Come on in to a low lunge. The top of the left foot is on the floor. I'm squaring my hips and shoulders to face the front of the mat. And bring your hands to your hip for a moment. I'd like you to make sure those hips are level. Level them out. And then from here, you're going to walk your right foot forward just a little bit. That's your front foot. So the knee is not like on a right angle just yet. You're not bent there. And then we're going to move in and out. Inhale, bending front knee, sweep the arms up. Exhale, arms alongside the body. Keep moving. Keep your hips level. Inhaling, sweeping up. Exhaling, arms down. Nice and slow. Next time you bend the knee, reaching the arms up, pause here. Kick your back foot into the floor a little bit more. Reaching those arms up. Maybe you reach so high that maybe you go back a little bit. Maybe, if that feels healthy. On the exhale, bring your hands to the inside of your right foot. Heel toe, the right foot off to the right edge of the mat. And if you'll notice now, if I drew a line horizontally, like across the mat here, my field of vision from one long edge to the other, I'd have my right foot on the line, and I'd also have both hands on that line. So they're all in a row. Right knee bent over that right heel, variation of lizard pose. Hugging the right knee in towards the right arm. One more slow breath here. Let's move it into a twist. Left hand comes to opposite edge of the mat of that right foot. Right arm reaches up. Can you turn your palm on the left hand, bottom hand? Can you turn the fingertips out a little bit to help slide the shoulder blade onto the back? Now, you can stay here with the back knee on the floor, or if you want a little bit more, you can tuck that back toe, lift the back knee, pressing front foot deep into the floor. Maybe you gaze forward, maybe you gaze to the ceiling. One more round of breath here. And then exhale, hand to the mat. Step your right foot back. Come on down to your belly. Preparing for a baby cobra. And it's a baby cobra because you're not going to use your hands. You're just going to use the muscles of your back to lift up. Press the feet down into the floor. Inhale, lift the chest. Gazing to the top edge of the mat. Stay here for a few rounds of breath. Lengthening your tailbone towards the heels. Tummy is drawing in a little bit. Heads of the shoulders moving back. You could even lift your hands off the mat. That's how much you're just using the back muscles. So we're strengthening those muscles that tend to get weak as we kind of hunch over our phones or computers. May not be pleasant, but it's helpful. You want those upper back muscles. One more round of breath. And then exhale. Push down into the floor. Come on up through hands and knees. Take the knees a little bit wider than hips width distance, just a smidgen. Toes are going to point together. Coming through, thread the needle. Inhale, right arm reaches up. And exhale, don't come all the way down yet. We're going to just kind of glide it through. And then we're going to inhale, come on back up through again. Good. That's one. Let's do two more. Exhale, glide through. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Now here we go. Go ahead and land that right shoulder to the floor, right side of the face to the mat. I like to bend my top elbow and just kind of lean my hips a little bit to the right here as I press the bottom hand, that's the right one, the back of it, into the floor, moving the right shoulder blade away from that wrist. If you like to do a bind, of course, please get into that bind here. We'll do one more round of breath. And then slowly come on up. Cat-cow, inhale, lifting head and tail. Exhale, rounding the back. Nice and slow. Let's do that twice more. Good. Come on through center. Let's go through all that. Second side. Let's see how I do about remembering it. I don't know, cross your fingers. So here we go. Gait pose, second side. Left hand comes to the floor or the mat. Please walk the hand a little bit in front of that shoulder if the wrist is feeling pinched. And again, if you had rings on every one of your fingers, you would drive them into the floor. Circle the arm. Right arm circles down and up. Inhaling as you circle the arm up. Exhaling, circling down. Pressing that right foot into the floor. Now, next time that right arm comes up, we're going to pause, bicep by ear, press right foot into the floor, reach right arm out of that right foot. You're opening the chest, you're kind of stacking the shoulders best you can, stacking the hips best you can here. Move in that direction. Good. And then from here, sweep that right arm out and down. You're going to be in the back of your top hand to the low back, moving the head of the right shoulder back, right? So if that shoulder's coming forward and the shoulder blade is winging, you're not going to feel the stretch. So draw it back best you can. Press right foot into the floor. Inhale, lift your heart away from your belly button. And then exhale, head turns. Oh, I'm sorry, release the left head down. Actually, let's take that for a few moments. Just feeling the head of the right shoulder moving back. Soften your jaw, soften your forehead. Good. With an exhale now, you're going to look at the left hand, head turns. Press the base of each finger into the mat. Fingers are spreading wide. Push your jaw, bottom jaw forward. And see if you can move the stretch into the right jaw, kind of right where the corner of the jaw is. You're pushing the jaw forward, moving the head of the shoulder back. I kind of start to like lift my chin away from my chest to find that. Move your head around. Maybe there's another more interesting stretch for you here in the neck, in the face. Let's take about one more round of breath here. Good. Now both hands come to the mat. Right knee to the mat. Step your left foot forward. Come on up into a lunge. Squaring hips and shoulders to face the short edge of the mat here. Walk your left foot forward just a smidgen so that the heel's just in front of the knee. And with an inhale, bend the front knee, reach the arms up. Exhale, swing them down, come out of it a little bit. Bending again. Exhale, give it a break. A few more rounds of breath like this. Kick that back foot into the floor. I want you to feel your right glutes work. And the next time you come into it, left knee's bending, top of the back foot's into the floor. We pause here, reaching, reaching, reaching. The area below your navel is pulling in. Engage your right glute. Maybe there's a back bend for some of you. Maybe you're just going to reach, reach, reach for the sky. Last inhale. Exhale, lizard. Hands to the mat, inside the front foot. Heel toe, that front foot over to the left edge of the mat. Now, if you had a horizontal line on the mat in front of you, you would have both your paws and your front foot on that line. Left knee now is bent over the left heel as I hug my left knee in towards that left arm. Good. Come into revolved lunge. Right hand to the opposite edge of the mat. So right hand's opposite to the left foot. Sweep left arm up towards the sky. Left knee stays bent over that heel. You might keep that back knee on the floor. You might lift the back knee. One more slow round of breath here. Exhale, left hand to the mat. Step your left foot back. Come on down to your belly. Baby Cobra, hugging elbows in, lift the chest and the head using just the muscles of the back. Feet on the floor. The glutes are toned. Tailbone lengthening towards the heels. And why don't we lift those hands again? That's fun, right? Lift those hands. Heads of the shoulders moving back. Sometimes when we come into these kind of back bends or any back bend, it's very interesting. The head wants to do the back bend, like you lift your chin. And just notice, is that happening? See if you can draw your chin slightly towards your throat and instead lift from the back of your head. Nice way to strengthen the muscles of the neck. So chin slightly towards throat and then lifting the back of the head. One more round of breath here. Hands to the floor. Come on back up through hands and knees. Take the feet at least hips width distance, maybe a smidgen wider, just if you need more of a base. Toes are touching. Let's come through that thread the needle. Inhale, left arm reaches to the sky. Exhale, slide it through. Oh, psych, just kidding. We're not coming into it just yet. We're going to do it twice more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, glide it through. Inhale, reach. Exhale, glide it through. Land that left shoulder to the mat. Left side of the face to the mat. I'm pressing the back of my left hand into the floor. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I'm palm up with my bottom hand. Please come into a bind if that suits you. Leaning the hips slightly to the left. And pressing the back of that left hand into the floor, anchoring it there, and then trying to move the left shoulder away from that wrist. With your next inhale, come on back up through hands and knees, knees under hips, hands under shoulders, cat cow. Inhale, lifting the head and tail. Exhale, rounding the back. Lift the spine nice and slow. Twice more, real slow. And this time, as you exhale, rounding back, send your rear to your heels, child's pose. Take 3 breaths. Good. Inhale, come on up to sit. Okay, so let's come on up to stand now. Let's do a few half sun salutations, moving the breath, lengthening out the legs. So come to stand at the top of the mat, palms together in front of your heart. Exhale completely. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Tadasana. Third Hastasana, arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, palms together in front of heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Good. This time I'd like you just to step your left foot back, preparing for warrior 2. Cartwheel your hands up. Right knee is going to bend. You might want to block for this in front of the right foot. We're going to do triangle pose in just a few minutes. So pause here in that warrior 2, lifting the heart. Inhale, lots of length in the spine. Exhale, head turns to the right. Good. And now we're going to flow, keep the legs as they are, but kind of flow in and out of reverse warrior 2. On an inhale, right arm reaches up. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale, reverse warrior 2. And it's kind of like you don't have to go right into side angle pose. You're just kind of blowing back and forth here, moving the arms, feeling the strength of your legs, supporting this. So it's not like a complete side angle pose, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Nice. And then let's straighten the right leg. Triconasana, triangle pose. Straighten that front leg. So your right hand can come to a block, inside or outside the foot if you like. Maybe you're like me and you're just kind of tickling your shins. And it's okay if that top hip kind of comes forward a little bit. That's totally fine. You don't have to stack that top hip over the left. That's kind of just directional. The left hip will be a little bit higher than the right. That's all. One more round of breath here. Good. Bend your right knee. Come on up. Cartwheel the hands down. Step the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Tadasana, reach up. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Feel your breath. Excellent. We'll do the second side. So I'm just going to move to the other side of that so I don't have to turn my back to y'all. On an inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's do half forward fold with the inhale. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Step your right foot back now, preparing for warrior two. Cartwheel those hands up. And you want to be able to see the big toe of your left foot, right? So sometimes if the knee's collapsing in, it kind of hides that big toe. You want to keep swinging it open. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, head turns to the left. Lifting those arms, reaching through them. So we're looking at our left hand, but our right arm's still there. Don't let it drop. Keep lifting it. And then we're going to move the arms. Inhale, reverse. Warrior two. Exhale, moving towards that side angle pose, but not stopping. Inhale, reverse warrior two. Exhale. Feel that's the strength of your foundation. Connected to the earth. And everything on it. I think we're so connected to the earth we can't even see it. Like asking a fish about the water. Good, and let's move into Triconasana, triangle pose. Reaching the heart away from the hips. And wherever you're gazing, let it be intentional. You certainly can look at the floor forward or towards the hand. One more breath. Exhale, bend that left knee, come on up. And then we cartwheel down, step forward to a forward fold, Uttanasana. Half forward fold, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up, reach up. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart, feel your breath. Bend your knees, chair pose. So tap those fingertips down. That's how low you're bending those knees. And then inhale, reach up. Good. On the exhale, fingertips to the floor, forward fold. Gaze at your knees. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up, reach up. Exhale, palms together. Good. Interlace your fingers behind you. Move the heads of your shoulders back in space. Straighten the elbows. Lift your heart, lift your head. Good, and then release. Nice, and then we're gonna add the bind and chair pose together. Feel it out. You're welcome to grab a strap if you need it. Exhale, fold forward. Tap either side of your feet, bend the knees. Inhale, arms reach forward in this chair. And then interlace the fingers, binding here. Moving those hips back in space. So you're trying to, you want to be able to see your toes as you're doing this. Let's take one more round of breath here. Exhale, fold. Step your feet back into downward dog. Spread those fingers wide. Gosh, I think this is our first downward dog of the class. Enjoy it. Maybe you want to pedal those feet. Maybe you want to stay in stillness. Good. And then release. Walking the hands back. Now turn your heels in, lift them. You're going to bend the knees, come into a squat. And you can have the heels on the floor or not, your choice. Palms together in front of your heart. And pressing the elbows into the inner knees. See if you can see. Okay. So I'm wedging my elbows in there to help me lift. And then I'm kind of lifting my heart into the thumb knuckles. And a nice stretch in the inner thighs here. Calf muscles. And if you need more support when we do squats like this, you would just slide a blanket under your heels. You'd feel a little bit more grounded. Excellent. Go ahead and release down to the floor. Extend your left leg long, bending right knee. Okay, and please face the long edge of your mat here. Peel the toes of your foot towards the kneecap. Walk your left hand down the inside of the left leg, right? So I'm going to walk my hand. I've got my hand on the mat on the inside of the left leg. Bring your right hand to your hip and just take a moment and get your spine as long as you can. Draw the shoulder blades back onto the back. I'm drawing the toes. My left toes are reaching back towards my knee. That's important here. So you get that stretch in the calf. You might stay here. You might reach that right arm up, bicep by ear. Now, something that can tend to happen once this happens is that. So you see how I've dropped my top shoulder? I want you to keep the shoulders generally kind of moving towards a stacked position. My top palm is facing down. Some of you might want to grab that big toe with the bottom arm. You totally could do that. Driving the left heel into the floor. Good, and then inhale and come on up. Regular Janu Shirshasana, you're going to turn to face the left leg. Like you're moving to square those hips and shoulders towards the short edge of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold over left leg. Here, if you're excessively rounding in your back, please sit up on a blanket so that the stretch, you're feeling it more in your hamstrings and less in stretching the muscles of the back. Let your belly soften. Good, and then come on up. I think we did Kranchasana a week or two ago, but let's do it again because it's so good. So here's a Kranchasana variation. You're going to bend that left knee, grab a hold of the sole of the left foot, and then lift off. So you might be here, no problem. You might want to grab a strap. That's cool too. You might be here. That's cool as well. Lift the heart. And then we're going to move the stretch into the outer left hip. by swinging this foot across the body. So right hand, I like to bring it to the outside of the left foot. You can bring the fingers to the big toe if you rather, but make sure you're leaning on that left hip a little bit. Swing the foot across the body as your head, heart, and belly turn left. Keep a broad chest. And you're basically trying to keep equal weight on both sits bones. But what can tend to happen here is that you kind of lean on to the right sits bone, right? So lean maybe a little bit more to the left. Good. And then just come into a cross-legged position. So uh, crisscross applesauce, Sukhasana. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold over your cross legs, Sukhasana. And I find like a tighter Sukhasana here feels more effective in getting that stretch into the outer left hip so the knees are closer together. Soften your belly. Deepen your breath. Inhale, come on back up. From the top, second side, facing the long edge of your mat, kick out the right leg. Left heel moving towards the groin. Take a moment here and just notice if maybe you're like me, your hamstrings are still tight. The right sits bone is kind of light, it's kind of up. Do your best to kind of level out those sits bones. Maybe you prop yourself up on a blanket. Again, you sit on a blanket, that's going to really help drive it into the hamstrings. That's where we want to go. Walk that right hand down the inside of the right foot, left hand to hip. Just take a moment. We're working on getting the left shoulder blade flat on the back. Dropping that right shoulder down. Take a look at your right foot. Peel the toes back towards the knee. You want to reach through that right heel. That's where you're going to get the stretch in the calf. And then maybe you add that left arm reaching up. Okay, and then just watch that you're not dropping that left shoulder now and winging out the shoulder blade once you do that. You want to try to keep that shoulder blade generally moving on to the back, right? So that's the direction we're going. Is it achievable every time? Maybe not. So we're holding this pose as we breathe, but also what would it be like if you press that right heel into the floor? You're like reaching that right heel out of the groin, but you're also pressing it down. Last breath. Inhale, come on up. Turn to face the short edge of your mat, Sukhasana. Now your front leg is parallel to the long edges of the mat. You're squaring hips and shoulders generally towards the front edge of the mat. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, fold over, straighten leg. That's your right one. It's like you're trying to get your heart a little closer to your knee. I mean, this is like head to knee pose, right? But if we release the belly a little further onto the thigh, if we kind of stick our butt out a little bit more and reach the heart out of the navel, once again, we're targeting those hamstrings. We want to feel it in the belly of the hamstring. And engaging the quadricep always helps as well. So it's like you're lifting your kneecap. Good, inhale and come on up. Pranchasana. Bend right knee. Grab a hold of that right foot in some way, your style. Maybe grab a hold of the big toe, maybe not. Reach, lift that leg, lift the heart, balancing the weight of the body on the sits bones. So now our sits bones are like our feet connecting to the planet, and we're reaching our heart up out of that connection. Okay, grab a hold of the outside of the right foot or the big toe. Swing the leg across the body. Watch that you haven't rolled over onto that left sits bone. Keep a broad chest as you keep lifting your heart away from your hips. Right hand can come to the hips for this one. Moving shoulder blades onto the back as you turn your head to the right. Now, hopefully you're feeling some more sensation in the IT band area, that outer right thigh, outer right hip. Keep some weight on that right sits bone, heart lifting away from the hips. And then Sukhasana. Right knee bends, put my right shin in front. Knees are pretty close together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold over, crossed shins. Let your belly soften, completely relaxing your organs, low back, mid back. Good, inhale, come on up. And now just taking a moment for the neck. Sit nice and tall. Please sit on a bolster or something if you can't sit tall here. Drop your chin to your chest. Shoulder blades are on the back. Chest broad. Exhale here. Inhale, rolling your head to the right. Right ear to right shoulder. Pause here. Left hand comes to the floor to the left. Fingertips walk away from you to help draw the top of the left shoulder away from that left ear. Bring your right hand to your heart and lift your heart up into that right hand. Let your jaw go slack. Close your eyes. 3 breaths. Good. Release the hands to your thighs. Roll your chin back down to your chest. Left ear to left shoulder as you inhale. Head heavy to the left. Heart lifted. Right hand to the floor. Walk those fingers away from you to help draw the top of the right shoulder further away from that earlobe. Left hand comes to your heart. Lift your heart into that left hand. Close your eyes. Let your jaw go slack. 3 breaths. Good. Release the hands to the thighs. Roll your chin back down to your chest. Lift your head. Okay, we're going to move into relaxation pose or a seated meditation, your preference. So set yourself up in any way that feels good to you. And once you're there, scan through your body and indeed check that you are releasing into the floor. Relax your face, your jaw, your belly, your butt, your legs. And I will once again read the portion that I read at the beginning of the class, and I'll read the end part that dear Marissa wrote here, Marissa Knox, of grace and possibility. Centering in connection is remembering our sacred relationship with life. You are not separate from spiral galaxies, wildflower meadows, ocean waves. You are not separate from all the trees in the forest, all the stones in the rivers, all the celestial bodies in the sky. You are not separate from the wild geese flying overhead, the squirrels scrambling up a tree, the turtle sunning itself on a log in the lake. Breathing here, center your attention on interconnection. Interconnection to all that is and all that is possible. There is a divine intimacy between you and all things, all beings, all elements of nature. Notice what you are connecting to with your attention. Let your attention rest on what you love, what inspires joy. Consider that all you love is connected to all that is difficult to love. This is okay. There is plenty of room for both in the wholeness of your being. Witness your connection with the space that holds all complexity and contradictions. We all belong to this divine spaciousness. Our joy and our sadness, our love and our liberation, they are all woven together and unfolding together. In our shared belonging to the mystery, we find each other and we find ourselves. Notice the interconnectedness that you have with the air all around you. It's touching your body, your skin. You breathe it in, it touches your lungs. You breathe it out, it joins the air in the room, the space around you. The same air that you breathe out, perhaps breathed in by the plants in your house, the trees in your yard. They, in return, give it back as oxygen. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Perhaps stirring up some feelings of gratitude for your connection to all that is. And then taking a big morning stretch. If you're on the floor, draw your knees into your chest, roll to one side. Please take your time coming up to a comfortable seat of your choice. We'll meet with our palms together in front of our heart. Checking in, how are you doing now? How do you feel? If you were able to cultivate any benefits, any pleasant feelings from your practice today, I encourage you to think of someone or someone's in your life who could use some openness in their body, some breath, some strength, whatever it is that you felt like you were able to cultivate in your practice. See their face clearly. Gather it up on an inhale. We'll send it out on an exhale. See this special friend, creature, wherever they are now, and they're smiling, feeling good. Thank you so much for practicing today. Namaste.